Oh my goodness, the Houston Texans are going to the playoffs, but it dang sure wasn't easy. Let's talk about it in another live locker room postgame show. Let's get it.
Yeah. It's the locker room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey, locker room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk. Yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize every angle's what we really do. We the source. We the pulse of the city too. Landlocked. Got the game in the head.
Playoffs. Texans going to the playoffs. It was not easy, but perhaps it was as simple as a lot of people made it. We tend to overanalyze things. By we, I mean me, us, all of us. Be sure to subscribe, like, right along. You can hear me Monday through Friday, 10 to 2 Central, Sports Radio 610 in the Odyssey app. But this was all about the quarterback. This game was about C.J. Stroud versus Gardner Minshew. It was as simple as that. It was about the quarterback. C.J. Stroud was a guy that his team won because of him. And Indianapolis, even with Jonathan Taylor putting on the performance he did, even with all that, the Colts were unable to win despite Gardner Minshew. And I respect what Gardner Minshew is. I respect what he does. But at the end of the day, C.J. Stroud made the plays when his team needed it. Gardner Minshew did not. Even that drop pass, he should have caught it. It was still a little bit behind him. And they clearly didn't trust Gardner Minshew there at the end of that game. We'll hear from DeMeco Ryans. We'll hear from C.J. Stroud. I'm assuming that the podium will have Nico Collins there as well. And we'll hear from him. Right off the top, you had the play to Nico Collins. I thought Bobby Slowik was in his bag the entire day. But on the first offensive play, by the way, the Texans, the first team in the NFL this year to score on their first offensive play. And what a hell of a time to do it. Texans were thin at wide receiver. They only needed one tonight. There really wasn't much production from the other wide receivers. Nico Collins tonight. Nico Collins had 9 catches for 195 yards. The rest of the wide receivers combined had 2 catches for 11. Hutchinson had 1 for 6. Mechie had 1 for 5. 2 catches for 11. The rest of the wide receivers combined. Nico Collins had 9 for 195. So you only had one wide receiver. That was all you needed. That first play was wild. They came out with 3 tight ends. They max protected, and it was basically just Nico Collins beat this guy, CJ throw the dime, and they threw the dime, and it kind of gave the Texans some breathing room there. Into the first half, Texans were up 14-6. Troy Aikman said it multiple times. I think he was 100% right. By the way, that national broadcast, really, really legit. It was nice getting to hear what they thought about the Texans. But it seemed like Indianapolis was lucky to be just down 8 at halftime. Very fortunate to be down just 8 at halftime. I thought it was the Nico and CJ show on offense. On defense, look, Jonathan Taylor, he was that dude. Indianapolis, if they don't pay their running back and make their running back happy, they're not in this game. They're not in this situation. And I think Shane Steichen deserves a hell of a lot of credit for getting in this situation. I think he deserves a lot of credit for even having the Colts in this situation. T already saying, appreciate you, T. Bobby Slowik had a terrible game. It should have been over at half. Glad we won. I disagree. I thought Bobby Slowik was fine. I don't think this offense is built to where they can overcome huge deficits. I don't really think that I don't think they're built to where they can throw early. I don't think this Texans team is built like that. I thought with what he had, it's really actually kind of incredible, some of you people. And I'm not trying to get on my high horse. I love you. You're not the only one that says it. But on one hand, we talk about how they don't have any receivers. John Mechie hasn't been worth a damn. Xavier Hutchinson has never done anything. Even the tight ends don't have a lot of experience. So we go into this game knowing that. And Bobby Slowik put CJ Stroud in perfect opportunities to where CJ Stroud on the first play has an opportunity where all he has to do is make a perfect throw and you take an early lead. You get that. You're the first team in the NFL to score on your first play. They find Andrew Beck in the back of the end zone, another perfect drive. They were going to go for it on 4th and 1. Laramie Tunsil false started. So you're up 14-6. CJ Stroud has 150 yards passing at halftime, and Bobby Slowik's getting blamed. I can't get down with that. I thought Bobby Slowik called a hell of a game today. So there'll be plenty of times, and each game changes. But if you're not happy with Bobby Slowik today and you want Bobby Slowik to run the ball, I think we're ignoring the fact that one important thing has to happen when you throw the ball. Two things, actually. There's two things that have to happen. First of all, you have to be able to block. So you have to be able to block one of the best non-blitzing defensive lines. Then you have to have receivers get open. So who the hell is going to get open there of those guys? Nobody. I thought it was a fine mix tonight. I'm not going to look at the yards per carry by Devin Singletary and sit there and say that he didn't run the ball effectively. I thought he ran the ball fine. The biggest issue with the Texans is they don't have multiple running backs that can make plays. They don't have multiple running backs that can make plays. The Colts do. Most teams do. They don't have that. Williams says you got to do better against the run. Sure. Look, that's a fake-ass top 5 run defense. I was saying this all week. It's a fake-ass top 5 run defense. It's a good run defense. The numbers for the Texans when it comes to run defense for the year, they're skewed by that one game against the Tennessee Titans in which their guys couldn't block, and you held Derrick Henry to 12 yards. You guys watch every play. That's not a top 5 run defense. And Jonathan Taylor's the top 5 running back. So, yes, they got to do better against the run. They're not going to face anything like Jonathan Taylor in the playoffs. That's not going to happen. You should be more concerned about coverage and all that. But there was some sloppy play as far as penalties. Probably shouldn't have been as close as it was. You need to get at least one of these receivers back. You got to figure that out. And the defense just needs to ice up and figure something out. At this point, I know that you would love to face Cleveland and you would love to host a playoff game. And I think there's a good chance that Jacksonville loses tomorrow to Tennessee. And that would be fine. But at this point, Cleveland's icing up, man. The Texans are beat to crap. And who knows how much more beat to crap they are after that game. That was a hard-fought dub. Who knows how much more banged up they are. I'm almost to the point where I know that it's cold up there. I know there's a lot going on. I'm almost to the point where just give me Buffalo. Buffalo's going to play tomorrow night. No matter what happens, it's going to be a short week. They're banged up too, and they're going to have to battle with Miami for the division. I just think this Texans team right now is hanging by a thread. Props to them for gutting it out. Props to the Colts too for making it a game like they did. We'll hear from DeMeco Ryans a little bit later on. A lot of people talking about Laramie Tunsil's penalties. There were some rough ones. A couple false starts. The one that took away the 4th down at midfield. Kind of felt like the Texans had some momentum. They were perhaps going for a 2-possession lead. That was a massive penalty there by Tunsil for sure. But I don't the thing that I have no problem with Bobby Slowik. That was a win, loss, whatever. I had no problem with Bobby Slowik. I thought it was perfectly symbolized. I thought the criticism of Bobby Slowik was perfectly wrapped up by Adam Spillane. When I asked what exactly was Bobby Slowik supposed to do, Adam Spillane quote tweeted it. And I love Adam Spillane. He comes on the show every Wednesday at 10:35. But he came on the show and said, stop. He quote tweeted me and said, stop running the rock. Do this, blah, 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 blah. Brother, you were at the Rockets game. You were at the Rockets game, quote tweeting and saying that. Darwin's saying, we won, right? Darwin, you're banned. No, of course I know that we ran. I'm defending the offensive coordinator. You're banned. Get out of here, buddy. Let's get you on out of here. But yeah, I just think Bobby Slowik deserves some credit. I think he deserves a lot of credit for the game that he called. I thought he felt it out perfectly, gave them a chance. If it's not sloppy, I think they get the job done. And I think that things get figured out there. Player of the game. Michael says it should be Nico. I think you got to give it to CJ. The play that CJ made, the drive of the year, I thought was, let me get out my my notes. The 10th drive for the Texans, it was after Indianapolis had tied it at 17. And then perhaps the best play of the year, CJ Stroud. Let's just go through the best drive of the year. I guess I was muted there for a sec. Not sure what exactly I did there, but I don't think the Bobby Slowik slander makes sense at this point at all. We're back now. The 10th drive after the Colts tied it at 17 was the best drive of the year, and it had the best play of the year by CJ Stroud. Stroud was sacked for 10 yards. You remember when he looked over the shoulder, sacked for 10 yards. Then he found Schultz for 17, which basically negated that sack. Then on 3rd and 3, he found Schultz again, and he moved the chains on that. Then you had an Andrew Beck hold on first down after the 10-yard loss on the previous first down. Finds Schultz for 6, and then the play of the year. Stroud goes back, and Stroud finds Nico Collins. I don't even know how he did it. Troy Aikman was basically in awe, but he moves the chains. Then Bobby Slowik dials up a screen, hits Schultz for 9. Singletary moves the chains, and then he finds Nico inside the 5. Add the horse collar and the Singletary touchdown, and that to me was the best, easily the best drive of the season, with the best play of the season. By CJ Stroud. I think that was the best drive and the best and the best play. And it was almost all for nothing because Fairbairn missed the extra point. First extra point miss of the year. And you wonder how costly it's going to be. Indianapolis clearly trying to milk the clock. It was initially reported that Taylor's return was doubtful. He comes on the field and Jonathan Taylor moves the rock. I actually thought the Texans caught a break, that they called it a first down. I thought it was the right call, but initially they called it 4th and short. Would have given them an extra play inside the 2-minute warning and perhaps let them eat the clock a little bit, which they did with Taylor. But then on 4th and 1, I think that might have Might have gotten a little bit cute, Shane Steichen did, trying to draw him off sides and then calling the timeout, because probably could have used that one. Maybe would have had a little bit more of a puncher's chance. But on 4th and 1, Jonathan Taylor on the sidelines, perfect play call by Shane Steichen. And the running back, he's got his hands out. Gardner Minshew throws it behind him a little bit, probably still should have caught it. It falls to the turf, and the Texans end up getting the job done. And my thing at the end of the game, I thought that was a little too much. Do y'all not think that was a little too much? Like that, first of all, like you left a second on the clock. So if they're going to rush the punt with nobody back, then what's the difference between punting to them with 1 second left, where if they score, they automatically win, especially on a free kick where you're punting deeper, where you're punting deep, even deeper than I think you initially would have, and it's not a traditional punt, and punting it as quick as you can to where nobody gets it. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they think about that. Maybe Cam Johnston should have stayed in bounds a little bit more. I'm sure he's kind of terrified when he sees a NFL linebacker or D lineman running all over him. And quite frankly, with the way Cam Johnston punts the ball and with the way he punted the ball, you probably don't want him taking any hits because they damn sure need him. But I don't, that seemed a little bit, that seemed like a lot for me. But hey, they got the dub, and all is good. Story of the day, once again, CJ Stroud over Gardner Minshew. We'll hear from DeMeco Ryans a little bit later. I think he'll be at the podium. He's probably talking to the squad right now, but we'll hear from him. We'll hear from I guess CJ, and I guess they're gonna send Nico out there as well. JB says, did we actually just make it to the playoffs? Yes, you did make it to the playoffs. Milton, if there's Colts fans, shout out to the Colts fans. Come through. Y'all should be proud. It was a good season. The fact that the Colts were even in this situation deserve a lot of credit. Good coaching, just a crappy quarterback. Not good enough to win a game. And nobody wants to watch Gardner Minshew anymore than they already have. So Colts fans want to come through. No problem with that. Noel says, as a Colts fan, I feel so terrible, but I recognize Texans deserve the victory. You guys played better the game, so enjoy the playoffs. Yeah, and that's all good. I think that's a good mindset. I don't think there's anything to be too disappointed about. We'll hear from DeMeco shortly. He's at the podium. We'll get to DeMeco in perhaps, let's say, 3 minutes. Hear what DeMeco's got to say. You know, he's got that big smile on his face. Can't do it completely live. T again. Get one more playmaker in the draft and receiving and Tank is healthy. Hell, just give me Woods and Noah Brown back for the playoffs. And let's see what happens there. That'll be extra fun. Apologize for the mute thing earlier. I think it was press the cough button and forgot to press it back up. But enough about me. Let's hear from the head coach, DeMeco Ryans. Texans going to the playoffs in DeMeco's first year. Let's hear what he had to say about it right here in the locker room.
Feels awesome. All glory, honor, and praise goes to God, man. We've just blessed us throughout this entire season. Our team has been humble and worked, fought right behind the scenes, and I think it means a lot to our guys to get this spotlight today, and just to come away with a gritty win, really gritty win. Wasn't our best performance, but it was gritty. It was tough, and it was a special performance. Our guys stood up, made the plays when we needed to make plays. CJ and Nico, they stole the show. It's an awesome job.
Damn sure did.
Two of our best playmakers. And Nico, we needed him most today, and he showed up big time for us, made a ton of big plays, and it's the reason why we won this game.
Nico, what were your thoughts on that first touchdown after Indy kicked that opening field goal, first play? Great throw, great.
Oh yeah, awesome throw, awesome catch, something we had been working, and when Bobby called it, I was like, oh, here it is. So just credit to Nico, right, and CJ for also great ball placement and putting that ball exactly where it needed to be, and Nico going up and making that catch. And I have been telling Nico, hey, he's been catching a lot of deep ones, but he's been stumbling and falling, and not getting in the end zone. This time, stayed up and got in the end zone. Biggest play of the year for him. Yeah, just during that moment, I was just thankful, really thankful for this, to be in this position, right? Thankful for our guys and the way they fought, like everything that we've been through throughout the entire year, just taking it all in, and been through a lot of ups and downs. For us to grind through the season and find a way, right, to get an opportunity in the playoffs, it's a special moment, one I always remember. And it was a moment just of gratitude. Yeah, CJ, he doesn't surprise me, right? We've talked about it earlier in the week with CJ just being special in these big time moments when we needed most to step up and make plays. He's done it time after time throughout the entire year. So I don't think it's not surprising to anyone. That's who he is, right? He's one of the best passers in his league, and he shows it consistently game in and game out.
You mentioned last week when you said that you and the guys we talked about, we didn't come this far just to get this far. How satisfying was it that there were all kinds of things that happened in this game, but you finished the deal?
And that's what's special about it, right? We didn't come this far just to get this far. Like, guys, they wanted it. Our guys wanted this opportunity, and they went out and had the determination to go and make it happen, right? It wasn't easy. It was a tough team. Indy is a really good football team, well-coached team. They played an unbelievable game. And to go up against a really tough opponent and come out with a win, right, it's special, and it says a lot about our group.
What was it about that dynamic duo that was able to kind of carry the offense to the win?
Right, they were in sync. We're missing a lot of guys. Missing Robert, we're missing Noah, we're missing Tank, missing a ton of receivers, and we know Nico is, our go-to guy, our playmaker, and for them to step up and make plays when we need it most, right? It's that special connection. They were in sync all game. They were in sync, and for Nico to have over 195 yards, that's big time. And so I tell him all the time, he's a big time playmaker, and he continues to show it week after week. Right, when he's out there, he's a problem. Right, and he's a tough out for a lot of teams. So happy that he's on our side.
Coach, you're on the ups and the downs. You talked about the way this team just continues to fight, the way they continue to fight and never give up. During this game, could you just see that from your players in their eyes and they coming on and off the field?
I saw it in our guys just in pregame. I felt our energy in pregame. I felt it last night in our team meeting. I felt like our guys had the mindset that we would not be denied, and we knew it would be tough. We knew it didn't matter how long it took, but I just knew, and they knew, they had that quiet confidence about them, and I felt that last night in our team meeting. Felt it throughout the entire game. Right, nobody ever wavered. Nobody ever blinked. They knew we would come away with the win.
We've got time for a few more, guys.
Two things. 1 of 11 on the third down, and then Cashman Harris taking Harrison's that sack.
Defense stood up. The guys did a really outstanding job on third down to hold the team to one conversion on third down. That's winning football. So when we needed to make plays, we made plays. Christian and Blake, they both made a lot of tackles, ran around sideline to sideline, made a lot of plays. But it's just overall, right, everybody. In the passing game, our secondary did a really good job, right, at keeping the ball in front of them. Just overall, the guys, they gritted it. They grinded it out, right? It wasn't our best performance in the running game, right? We let a few get loose there. Tackling wasn't great. But when we needed to make a play there on 4th and 1, right, to come up with a play, a stop for the game there was huge. What's next? We enjoy this. We enjoy this moment for sure. Enjoy tonight, and get to sit back and watch football tomorrow. See where we'll be going, who will be playing, we'll be at home. right? There's a lot of things that can happen that we know, but we get to sit back and watch now. We get to breathe and not be in these last second situations anymore. So we get to sit back and watch the other teams play.
So actually, to follow up on that, 7 of you guys literally come down to the last play. How have you guys been able time again to rise up in those occasions?
Yeah, experience now. We're an experienced team in these moments. In the final drives of games, we have the experience. Probably too much for my liking, but it's just win. And I was happy about the way this performance happened today. And it's kind of microcosm of our entire season. Like, no matter what happened, we found a way to win. And that's what we need moving forward. Like, it doesn't matter how pretty or ugly, it's just win. And that's what we've been doing. Our guys have the experience, no matter how the game looks, find a way to win. And that's what it'll take moving forward.
We'll close with Jonathan, Will, and Cesar.
What do you feel like was important?
Yeah, we had to play better technique, switched up some things there schematically, and we just had to play better technique. The biggest thing in the run game was tackling. All right, we were in position, but tackling, we had to be much better there.
Last few years, franchise been through a lot of insertions. They're coached for 3 years. They've hired you a rookie head coach, Kevin Garrett, running off the field. She literally yells, "I can't stop crying." What's it mean for you to give this franchise and that ownership?
Yeah, it means everything to me to provide this opportunity for our organization, right? To see the smiles on everyone's faces, not just the players, but all of our support staff, the owners, right? Cal and Hannah, right? Them entrusting us, right? To see the smiles on Nick's face, like everybody, right? I'm happy to be a part of it. I'm happy to see everyone smiling, happy, excited about this moment, excited about this opportunity that we have in front of us, right? It's a proud moment for our organization. So I'm happy to be a part of it and happy to be along for the ride.
We'll go with Aaron and then last one.
When you think about Texans, where you are now, look at you watching one season playoffs with a quarterback like you have. You think about your outlook now that you get the playoffs.
We're just going to enjoy this moment right now. We'll worry about the playoffs next week. And once we find out who we're playing, we'll worry about it. But I think right now is just a time to reflect and take in just a moment of gratitude for us all, right? Be grateful for this opportunity that we have in front of us, to be proud of the season that we've had, to fight through in a must-win game and finding a way to win. I think guys just have to take a breather and just enjoy this moment.
Last one. As many fans as could make it into the game, like they made it out, they came out, as many as possible. What do you have to say to the fans back home that couldn't make it out, but hey, watch party, watching, at home, going through the ups and downs, same
Right.
way you were on the sideline?
Yeah, to our fans back home, I know you guys feel the same emotions I'm feeling. There's a lot of ups and downs through this game, but man, I know our fans are partying and they're excited, and we're happy to give them that excitement. We're happy to put smiles on our fans' faces. They deserve it, right? They deserve it, and we were happy that they're proud of their team. And for us to be in position to go to the playoffs and give our fans something to cheer about even more, right? We're thankful for their support, their continued support. Thankful for all our fans who made it up here. We had fans who showed up here in Indy. And we're just thankful for the overwhelming support, the excitement that we have all around the town. All right. Thanks, guys.
All right, there you go. It's DeMeco Ryans, first year head coach, Texans in the playoffs. How about that? That is first time since 2019 that the Texans have been in the postseason. Opponent still undetermined. 3 possibilities right now. And if the Jags, it's very simple. If the Jags win or if the Jags lose tomorrow, then the Texans will be hosting the Browns at NRG. And not only will you be talking about playoffs, you'll be talking about a division title. So how about that? Game balls, players of the game. Game ball number 1 goes to the quarterback, CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud, no weapons today except Nico Collins at the wide receiver position. Absolute amazing stuff from him, particularly on that 10th drive. After the Colts had tied it at 17, it felt like momentum was in their favor. You lost 10 yards on first down, picked up a large chunk to Schultz. Then you lost 10 yards again on first down. Had the play of the year on second down, that play to Nico Collins. And then eventually you found Nico Collins inside the 5, and you capped that drive off. CJ Stroud, game ball number 1. Game ball number 2, Nico Collins. Nico Collins, he had 195 yards today. The other Texans receivers combined for 2 catches for 11 yards. Put that in perspective. 2 catches, 11 yards from your other receivers, and Nico Collins puts on a performance like that to where it doesn't effing matter. That's the next game ball. Next game ball, Dalton Schultz. On that drive, Dalton Schultz was huge. There were some big plays that Schultz made. He had that second down after the sack, 17 to make it 3rd and 3. He caught the ball on 3rd and 3. Schultz came to play, and he was out there battling. He was out there blocking. Defensive side of the rock, Blake Cashman. He's not 100%. Blake Cashman, I think he had 13 tackles, and Christian Harris had 12. Christian Harris, another game ball. Christian Harris was great. Derek Stingley too. I don't know that teams are really throwing at Derek Stingley anymore. I think they've kind of gotten over that. It seemed like Steven Nelson was a little bit hurt today, but Derek Stingley was out there doing his thing. He's been doing his thing the whole time. Mellow Mike says the pass defense showed up today. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't want to take anything away from, what they did or anything like that, but I would argue that, and this is just me, I would argue that Gardner Minshew was just incapable of taking advantage of the Texans' pass defense. That's just me. I think that there was the one play, and you could read Shane Steichen's lips. He says to Gardner Minshew, "That's on you. We had it." Even the last pass was kind of behind. They clearly didn't trust him. The way they were moving at on that drive, they were basically just trying to get close enough to where they were trying to run the ball and avoid having Minshew make too many plays. I thought Minshew left a lot of meat on the bone. Quite frankly, I think if Gardner Minshew were worth the damn, there's a chance that we're sitting here mourning a loss, which speaks to how resilient the Texans are. I mean, you can look at it either way, how resilient the Texans are, how impressive of a season the Colts had. Hopefully the receivers can get a little bit healthy, and you can get either Noah Brown or Robert Woods. I'm sure that they are icing up like crazy. They probably watched this game, or they probably spent more time in the ice bath than they have in their entire lives. So if you can get a couple of those guys back, that'll be good. You're also not, regardless of opponent, you're not going to face a running back like Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor is he was an absolute freak today. He's had some really good moments against the Texans, and today it was almost a legendary type of performance when you see yourself going back to the podium and everyone thinks you're done, and then you come back out there and you get down there. I think he was just out of gas on 4th and 1. I'm sure that in Indianapolis they're probably asking themselves, they're probably asking themselves, hey, what's the deal with the Taylor being on the sidelines on 4th and 1? My answer, I guess, like if I were just guessing, would be he's probably freaking exhausted. I mean, I would argue that he was probably freaking exhausted because he had the hurt heel, and then he came back into the game and he was still kind of moving piles and stuff like that. So I would believe that he probably left it all on the field and was just kind of worn out. Also, very glad. I am gonna get Cody Stoots on. He's doing some writing for Houston football, which you should all be subscribing to. It's the best subscription you can have. It's a legit gem in this town. It's better than any Athletic or any Houston Chronicle subscription. I promise you that. And it's worth it, and it's local and all that. So I would I would definitely recommend that. We'll get him in here. We got to hear from CJ first. I don't know if they're going to send Nico to the podium or not. If they do, we'll hear from him. But that was a heart attack game. One thing I will say, and I think y'all can speak to this, that primetime stage was amazing. Just the way the whole scene was set. You had Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. Troy Aikman, I think, said it 15 times that it's a damn shame that someone has to lose this game. You heard that. Of course, they were big on CJ Stroud. They were really big on DeMeco. Lisa Salters at the start, she set the stage. I mean, she set the stage. Like if Will Anderson had done this week what he did last week, man, after the way she put that on a tee, you almost would have had to give him defensive rookie of the year. She was talking about how the Jets, for the first time, had the offensive and defensive rookie of the year last year. She was that they did like a whole montage of CJ getting drafted and Will getting drafted. I thought Will was good today, though. He was getting held a lot. It kind of seemed like he was getting a little bit held, specifically at the end of the game. But yeah, I thought that I thought that Will Anderson was good, not great, but the stage was definitely set for him. Definitely set for him. We're gonna have a little bit of a surprise, as predicted. CJ Stroud is not going to be the next at the podium because there was another guy who balled out today, and that was Nico Collins. We'll hear from Nico Collins in a second. He's getting a little podium love up there, so we'll go and hear from Nico Collins. Always a fun dude to talk to. Always a fun dude to listen to, and easily the best game of his career right off the top. That 75-yard touchdown that really set the tone. I couldn't imagine what this game looks like without it, honestly, and I don't know that I want to imagine. If you have the desire for the Texans to get in the playoffs, I don't know that you really want to imagine that. Let's hear from Nico. How about a little Nico podium action? Nico Collins meeting with the media types. How about that? How about that? Look at Nico. Got the Michigan gear on. Here's Nico Collins.
Man, so it was time for, a couple guys, to step up from the practice squad, P squad, even guys on the after rocks, man. It was one of the ones that we need everybody to be locked in and leave it all out there, for our brothers, man. And, excuse me. That's what we did.
Nico, on that last drive, you guys are first and 20. You guys are second and 20 on that thing. There's a wild play where it looks like he throws it up. Okay, we look down there and you're down there and you know the ball's coming, man. Take me through that play if you could, and just the mentality of we will get this.
Man, it came down to scramble drill. I ran the route. It was one of those off-schedule plays. Seen 7 scrambling, threw it up. It had enough hang time for me to go get it. So that's why I did. I seen the ball hanging, so I just left it all out there. It made a play for the team. That's what we need to move the sticks, man. So it's one of those, just throw it up, see what happened, and it came down with it for sure. Yeah.
59 air yards.
I had a little hang time too, man. It was just one of those plays. We knew first play was an entire week, man. Even yesterday doing walkthrough, man. Defense gave us the look we wanted. Seven trusted me. I trusted him, man. The ball gonna be there, and that's what we did. He told me just run. That's what I did. Got it. Made a play for the squad. Surprise? To be honest, I don't even. Nah, I ain't surprised. I want the one-on-one matchups. So it was time to work. Once I seen my opportunity, anybody lined up, whatever coverage is, man, just get open. So that was my mindset. Yeah. Man, it was one. I think it was fourth quarter, right? Wasn't fourth quarter? Yeah, it was one of those, man. I think we was up. Were we up by? It was tied down. Yeah, I got you. Yeah. So it was one of those, man. Just leave it all out there. We was trying to get to the playoffs, man. Doing whatever it takes. 7 scrambled out the pocket. threw it up. You know, I was in the right place, right time. You know, it had enough airtime on for me to go make a play. And that's what I did. You know, did it for the team. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. You know, last 2 years it was frustrating, you know, due to injuries. You know, I feel like it was something I could control. You know, especially a lot of soft tissues, you know. So I feel like I took this offseason a little personal. You know, just finding ways, you know, so I can be available for the team, you know, because it's a long season, you know. So 18 weeks, man, it's pretty long. You know, a lot of people don't realize how long it is, you know, the work you put in Monday through Friday, then show up on Sunday. You know, it's a lot of work, man. So the body take a lot of wear and tear, you know. So it's also our job, you know, be a pro and take care of your body, you know. And I feel like that's what I've done this offseason and during the season as well. You know, just trying to be available, you know, doing whatever it takes. And I mean, it's been paying off. So continue to stick to that routine. Maybe got to add a little more in the offseason, you know, because it was a little nicks and bruises throughout this season, you know, learned, you know. So looking forward to it, man. Looking forward to a, you know, great, healthy rest of the season, man, and ready to rock out with the boys.
What's your satisfaction level right now?
Satisfaction? I ain't satisfied yet. You know, it's a lot left out there. You know, we got this win, you know, and it's big time. But I'm not satisfied. Team not satisfied. You know, there's so much left out there for everybody. You know. Yeah. Yeah, you know, we did have a lot of injuries, you know, throughout the whole season. You know, O-line, you know, wideouts. You know, I just feel like we really never had our full team yet, you know, full squad. You know, I feel like it's a lot of left, you know, pieces out there. But I feel like, man, once you get everybody back, man, I feel like we're a team that can make some stuff happen. You know, it's a team that we on a mission, you know, to flip this whole program around, man, and just play for each other. You know, you can feel that, you know, every single play, every single drive out there, that we out there just having fun, you know, and that's how it's got to be, you know, for us in the games. So that's the goal.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate y'all. Thank you.
All right, there you go. Nico Collins, podium action right there. What a game for him. They needed it too. I don't know, you know, I don't know where they go from here when it comes to the health, et cetera. Well, we're here from CJ. I'm really intrigued to hear what CJ has to say. But before that, let's just recap the game. Cody Stoots will join me as well shortly. A lot of y'all talking about the offseason. F the offseason, man. Got the playoffs, man. Got a playoff game in either 7 or 8 days. Who gives a rat's you know what about the damn playoffs? Not I. Or the offseason, I should say. I definitely care about the playoffs. Opening drive, Colts had to settle for 3. And it was it was the first time in the Steichen versus DeMeco overseeing offense defense where Steichen did not score a touchdown. Huge penalty on second down. It would have been a 3rd and long, but Desmond King had a big penalty, illegal contact that gave Indy the first down. Minshew moved the chains to Michael Pittman, and then Taylor kind of got in his groove. He moved the chains. You had Minshew run for 9. Taylor takes it inside the 20, but then Gardner Minshew misses a wide receiver. Little corner route. Stingley was there, but it seemed like if it had been placed in the right spot, Indy would have perhaps scored. That was the beginning of Gardner Minshew kind of not quite being enough for the Colts, but they do take a 3-0 lead. Come back from commercial break, CJ Stroud, montage, running on the field, all that type of stuff. Texans coming out heavy, 3 tight ends, only 1 wide receiver in Nico Collins. You wonder, is this going to be the run show? But instead, Stroud finds Nico for 75 yards on the first play. Texans first team in the NFL this season to score on their first offensive play. And they kind of needed that breathing room for sure. because they just weren't able, even though we'll get to the end of the first half, it ended in a decent manner. They just weren't able to just go for the kill of the Colts. There was a time where CJ kind of got in a rhythm. You got to midfield. It was 4th and inches. Texans were about to go for it, but Tunsil got a false start. That eliminated that. His second false start of the game. So the Texans had to punt. Indianapolis unable to move the ball on offense. And then the Texans end up getting the rock with a chance to take the lead. This was their 5th drive. Singletary for 7. Salbert moves the chains. Salbert, however the hell you want to say it, 81. Then you had Singletary for 6, then 2, then Nico for 32 yards. Another long play to Nico. Then you get it inside the 3. You have the 2-minute warning. Another perfect play call by Bobby Slowik. Texans find Andrew Beck. Beck makes it 14-3. And at that point, you're thinking 2-possession lead, got the ball coming on at half. If you can just hold Indianapolis to and make them punt, or even maybe if you can make them punt to you, you can get greedy and steal some points. But Indy puts together a decent drive. Petrie had an illegal contact on a play that it looked like it could have potentially been grounding had the penalty not been called. But Minshew was getting flushed out. Petrie got the illegal contact. And then he made 2 gross-ass throws once Indianapolis got inside Texans territory. One of them would have been a touchdown. That was the one where you saw the coach telling him, hey, you effed that up. You could read the lips. You missed that. But then you had the long Taylor run, and Indianapolis cut it to 14-6 at half. You see it, penalties and gross-ass Minshew. Minshew was gross. And the Texans go in 14-6, had a little bit of patty cake at the end with the Colts calling timeouts and all that. But the Texans end up going in at half. Nico Collins, 5 catches, 129 yards, and a touchdown at the half. CJ Stroud, 10 of 13, 151 and 2 touchdowns at half. So pretty good stuff. I had no problem with the way Bobby Slowik called this game. Some people are complaining about it. I just think that's silly. I think that's ignoring what he had to work with and what he ended up getting done. So different strokes for different folks, different opinions. That's what makes it great. There might be times where there will be times to criticize Bobby Slowik. I thought Bobby Slowik was good today. I had no problem with it. You think you want him to throw more? They got to block and guys got to get open. I would love for them to be able to run the ball more effectively. I actually think Singletary, just in watching the game, if you look at the box score, it doesn't look effective. I thought it was effective. I thought it kept it relatively balanced. I had no issue with it. Do I think that they're going to be able to play like this all the time and get dubs? No. But with what they had to work with, the quarterback kind of gutted it out. First play of the second half, found Nico for 22, but then the drive just completely fell apart. There was one play here that I don't think people really give enough attention to. And if you go back and watch games, go and look at the first down play after the 22-yarder to Nico Collins. Because this is kind of one of those where I'm starting to feel, okay, if you get a field goal here and you can just make it a 2-possession game, maybe you can like increase the urgency of Indianapolis to where they can kind of not necessarily abandon the run game, but they can rely a little bit more on Minshew. But on the second play, Slowik dialed up a really nice, it looked like a nice screen to Singletary, and Singletary only had to beat one guy who was actually getting blocked, and he ended up tripping and falling. I'm sure some of y'all might remember that play. He tripped and fell, only gained a yard. It's hard to imagine him not getting a decent gain on that, but he tripped and fell. And then Buckner gets a sack. There's another false start, and the wheels appear to be, not necessarily the wheels appear to be falling off, but it kind of feels like momentum is shifting a little bit as you're kind of hearing the crowd. By the way, that crowd was badass today in Indianapolis. Salute to the Colts fans that were out there. And as expected, as you could kind of feel that momentum, the Colts put together a really nice drive. Jonathan Taylor moves the chains on first down. They had a long play to midfield-ish, I think right inside the 50 to Branson, I think was his name. And then they hand it to Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor scores the touchdown. And then really the best thing that Minshew did, the RPO, just kind of Tebow-ish jump pass to make it 14-14. And you can feel the momentum swinging massively in the favor of Indianapolis. And it continues because the Texans go 3-0. At this point, I know a lot of you are saying, just be honest. Be honest with me. It's just us talking. At this point, I think a lot of you are probably saying, man, here we go again. We just can't get it done. The damn Texans on the big stage can't get it done. Here we go again. Oh my gosh. This sucks. We'll hear from CJ Stroud. I was checking in on that. He hadn't gotten up there yet. I'm sure he's trying to gather himself before he goes to the podium. But the momentum appears to be swinging. But then something happened that Troy and Joe brought up, and this is why I think they're such a good broadcast duo. With Indianapolis, with the crowd on their side, with them tying the game up after it being acknowledged that they were lucky to be down 8. Moss comes in to give Taylor a little bit of a break. He has 2 runs, I think it was, to move the chains. Then Taylor comes back in. He has another long ass run. But then you had Jerry Hughes go down, and you could just kind of hear the crowd. It was almost like they had to stop cheering because Jerry Hughes went down. And the play after he goes down, Gardner Minshew gets the ball batted down. What did Max Crosby call him? Little ass boy. Little ass boy gets the ball batted down because he's a little guy. And then they miss the field goal, the long field goal. Gay misses the field goal. And then you had the Texans getting the rock back, and the momentum had kind of been changed a little bit, it felt like. I'll say this, disaster had kind of been avoided with that momentum swing. Texans get the ball back. It's their 9th drive. Stroud used his legs a couple of times here. He used his legs to move the chains. We had the flea flicker attempt. Then we had a 3rd and 2. There was an incomplete pass to Hutchinson. Fairbairn goes out there from 51. Their kicker had just missed. Fairbairn nails the 51-yarder to make it 17-14. But then Indianapolis responds relatively quickly. You had some people would say it's a controversial call. I just think it kind of is what it is in this situation. You had Mo Alley Cox move the chains. And then on first down, Khalil Davis, who, by the way, he balled his ass off. He was out there banging. Khalil Davis gets Taylor for -4. But then the Colts find Pittman. Desmond King's kind of behind the play. He's turning around and running full speed to try to get Pittman, but Pittman happens to be facing him. So then Des King runs into Pittman. Kind of is what it is type of thing. Don't think it was like, I don't think it's avoidable, but I think it's something that they call, if that makes sense. But then the Colts end up getting the field goal, 3rd and inches. You had the challenge, 3rd and 9. Gardner Minshew just unable to make plays. Colts tie it at 17. And then we had the best drive of the year, hands down. We'll hear from CJ Stroud in a second. Cody Stoots is going to join me. Best drive of the year, best play of the year, not even close. The Texans' 10th drive. Again, you start out with the sack. CJ Stroud gets sacked. All the people that wanted him to throw on first down, you got your wish. CJ Stroud gets sacked. Perfectly dialed up blitz by Gus Bradley. But then Dalton Schultz, you get the chunk play, the 17-yard chunk play, courtesy of Dalton Schultz. That makes it 3rd and 3. Go right back to Dalton Schultz. That moves the chains. Then you had an Andrew Beck hold that made it 1st and 20. Schultz again, kind of in a little bit of a rhythm. He gets his 3rd catch for 6. And then 2nd and 14 play of the year. CJ Stroud going back, pump fake, looking, people coming from all directions. Heaves that ball 45 yards, maybe. I mean, that was an unbelievable toss. That's a good throw if you have your feet set. He didn't barely had time to do that. He gets it done. Nico moves the chains. Then a perfectly dialed up screen. I think I would say probably the 2nd or 3rd really good dialed up screen that Slowik had on top of the one where Singletary slipped. Schultz for 9. Then Singletary moves the chains. Then Nico gets inside the 5. Singletary caps it off, and you're feeling good. You're feeling great. You're high-fiving your buddies. You're screaming. You're yelling. Whatever the hell you do whenever the Texans score, you're pumped up, all that. Wait. He missed it. What? He missed it. You don't even watch Kiami Fairbairn extra points anymore. Kiami Fairbairn misses the extra point, and once again, if your negativity was reappearing as the Colts were coming, you're going, oh no, Texans again. You're sitting there saying, we're going to lose this game 24-23 because of the missed extra point. Don't lie to me. You know you were. You know damn well you were. And then Indianapolis, they get the ball. They're clearly trying to go 4-minute offense. You initially think Jonathan Taylor's done for the game. I think John McClain said he hurt his hell. I don't know what a hell is, but I think he just, is a mistype. Obviously his heel. Taylor comes in though. He guts it out. It almost appeared that the Indianapolis Colts paying their running back was going to be the reason that they won this game because their quarterback wasn't capable. You had Downs with the big play past midfield. He was kind of quiet today, but he's got a lot of promise. Then another 3rd down penalty by the Houston Texans. And then I thought this was it ended up not being as big of a deal, but I don't know why Taylor, with the way that they were playing, Taylor ran out of bounds 2 times. First of all, I think it was big that they gave him the 1st down because I think with the way that Taylor was running the rock, although they didn't convert later on, 4th and inches, it kind of felt like maybe that Taylor would have picked it up, and then that's an extra down where you have to use a timeout. But Taylor ran out of bounds 2 times. And I think it would on 3rd down, there was still 154 or 153 left on the clock. And then they were short on 3rd and 4 on 3rd. And then on 4th and inches, Taylor's on the sidelines. Probably should have caught the rock, but it was a little bit behind him. Texans get it. The end of the game, I don't know what the hell that was. That was a lot. I didn't really get it. I would have just rather have a position player catch it or something. I know it's a snap. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what that was. I guess you wanted to use more than a second, but then you're punting. Whatever. They got the W. That's really all that matters. They're going to the playoffs. That's all that matters. Let's bring in Cody Stoots. We'll hear from CJ Stroud in a second. Stoots, for me, the bottom line of this is it was the difference between the quarterbacks. It was that simple. Gardner Minshew, CJ Stroud, those two, and Nico Collins. Everybody talked about where you only have one receiver. That was all you needed. All the other receivers combined for 2 catches, 11 yards. Legendary career performance for Nico Collins. CJ Stroud on the big stage. Seems like that's where he does his best work. Jonathan Taylor, arguably the best player on the field. He did his thing, but at the end of the day, it's all about the quarterback. That's what it was. And I think Indianapolis deserves credit for even being in this situation.
CJ Stroud just absolutely fantastic in this one. That game-winning drive, he was incredible to overcome 2 horrific negatives on that drive and make it work. Dalton Schultz with that 17-yard gain on, I think it was 2nd and long to set up 3rd and short. That's one of those plays that gets overshadowed by the miraculous, and you talked about it, 40-yard pass that Stroud had fallen down that Nico had to go dive and catch. The absolute dart that he threw to set them up on the goal line, that was incredible. And you're right about the quarterbacks. The Texans had the better quarterback. That was the difference maker. And Shane Steichen put his trust in his quarterback, and that guy didn't make a good enough play. Yes, the other guy dropped it. It wasn't a perfect pass. In part, it wasn't a good pass because Will Anderson's flying off the edge, jumping in the air, trying to get in the passing lane. Like, when you trust your quarterback, you hope that he can make that play. You hope that everybody's going to make the play to help him out. I just don't know. You said it. Taylor was a monster. How do you not win and lose with your best guy? That's the third running back for the Colts and the backup quarterback. How do you not lose with one of the most well-compensated running backs? How do you not win or lose with him? By the way, they still had to go score after they get the first down. So it's not like that was a guaranteed win if they converted that fourth down. They still had to go score. I do feel like they were likely going to score, but they still had to go score. And I just don't know how you don't go win and lose. Yes, it's about the quarterback.
Yes, Cody. Like, I hear that.
Well, then put Moss in. Then put Moss. He was averaging 5 yards a carry.
Okay, so you're just saying just keep running the rock.
Yes.
It was a good play. It was a good play call, but I guess it goes back to you didn't trust him for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, you're slicing through the Texans, and I get on that very set of downs, the Texans stopped Taylor for 2 and 1 yard after he got 6 on second down. I understand that, and I get that. Okay, yeah, maybe he's tired. Moss averaged 5 yards a carry. Like run it through. Like, you pay Quentin Nelson $1 gazillion. Run it up his ass. Like that's a bad job by Shane Steichen. It's an offensive coach overthinking it.
Yeah,
it's an offensive coach overthinking it.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I get what you're saying for sure. I just don't know. Like at that point, it was like if you keep them in front of you, you can figure it out. Who knows? You want to hear from CJ Stroud? You want to hear what he has to say?
Hell yeah. I already watched his post game walking off the field. I watched his post game with SVP. Let's hear him at the podium.
Yeah, let's hear him at the podium.
Yeah, first of all, I just want to give all glory and praise to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, man. Ooh, it's a good game. It's a lot of respect for those guys over there. And to be my first season to make the playoffs, man, it's been a heck of a year, man. I'm blessed enough to be in this position for this great organization, this great city of Houston. And man, I'm just blessed, man. Words can't explain how proud I am of my teammates. And without them, there's no me or no winning, or you know what I'm saying? So it's just a blessing just to be able to be part of something special. Yeah, I told him before we went out there, this is the most important drive of the year. And the look that I got back from my teammates, man, it was like, man, let's ride. Like, it was like, let's do this thing. It was nobody holding their hat down on a previous play or anything like that. It was just like, man, let's go win this game. Let's do it. And every play, like, even we moved backwards, I think, 2 or 3 times. Like, we had 3 penalties, and we still, like, persevere through that. And I just think that's a testimony to the work we put in, the type of guys that we brought into the system, our coaching staff, how they called a great game. Just a multitude of an organization just putting it together. And I'm just blessed enough to be a part of it.
Your first play of the game, is that kind of plan all week long?
Oh, we didn't think they were going to be in that coverage. But Slow's a dog, man. Slow's that guy. So he had a feeling like we can hit him up top. And Nico did a great job creating separation. I'll do my best to get it out there. And I remember, like, watching Michael Vick and Deshaun Jackson, the first play of the game, I think it was like 2010 or something like that. And they just let it fly. Like, once I knew the first play was going to be that, I just kept thinking about that. So, man, it's cool just to see Nico just ball out. And that was a special first play, man. Special.
Obviously, Nico, everybody has to contribute to this thing. Nico steps up when you guys are way thin at wide receiver, and it's all night long, no matter what they're trying to do. What kind of performance did he put together? What kind of lift did he give this football team to go out there with 195 in this kind of state?
I think he just stamped who he is. I told him when our first time ever working out together, I said, "Bro, you a superstar." Even though I was young, I never even snapped the ball yet in the league. But I know good receivers. I played at Ohio State where we have tremendous receivers, and you see what they did. But I told him, man, my goal is to make you look as best as you can, to make you look like you. And I appreciate him just being just a consistent, great friend to me, somebody who I can just let my hair down with, and I think our chemistry, it shows on the field. Our friendship shows on the field. So I'm super proud of that dude, man. And it's just the beginning for him, just the beginning. And I feel like our other receivers did a great job too, when their numbers were called. And I'm proud of those guys, man. They stepped up big time this week, especially in the run game, and even in the pass game. Like even being a team player and clearing it out, or doing just small things that a lot of people don't want to do in this league, but that's what wins games. And I'm just proud of those guys too.
Will you take a chance to relax a little bit tomorrow and watch the game?
Yeah, I'm gonna watch the games, just get some recovery in and see what goes down. Just prepared to see what happens.
Now you're in a position where the guys can make it tell. How special is it to be a part of this moment?
It's tremendously special.
It's obviously special. Come on.
It's just like I said before, just a multitude of great people in a great organization putting together this time. Like one thing that I think about, like all the time we spend together, away from our families, away from our hometowns, away from people we love. Like it means something now. Like it always has, but um, just the time that we put in together, to see it kind of for the fruits of that labor to come to be. It's a blessing, man. I'm just blessed to be a part of this.
Yeah, time for two more guys. CJ, your mom has always been at the most important things for you. She was here tonight just to be able to do that, and not for only the city of Houston, but for her in the stands.
Yeah, I kept looking at her. More times than not, I don't be finding her, but she was so close I could hear her. Yeah, she prays. So like honestly, like when I look up and I see her praying, man, that just gives me a sense of comfort, like a sense of like, man, like my mama praying for me, like it gotta go good. So I love my mom to death. She's so supportive of me. She's been with me through thick and thin, and I love her to death, man. My sister as well, my other brother Isaiah, I miss him. I love him, and just really all my support staff, like I'm in support staff. Excuse me, my supportive family. Caleb, my best friends, STM back home, the city of the IE, like just like most of the people who poured into me as a kid to see me do what I'm doing now, man, it's a tremendous blessing.
You'll find out later if you're playing.
I got you.
You'll find out later if you're playing, but for now, just know that you guys have already made really good. Built some grit, let alone this close game. Play it, makes you built even better for playoff football.
100%. Yeah, we definitely know what it takes to win, and I always tell them boys like it don't gotta be close. So hopefully, man, we start putting four quarters together. But in these type of games, man, like that's kind of how it goes. It's uphill battle. It's up and down, and all all you want is the dub. So we're proud of that.
I asked Nico the same question. Head coach, gone with this franchise long the last couple of years. Hannah and Cal hired him to be the rookie head coach. A lot of work went into for them to draft you as well. Hannah runs off the field tonight. Experience, you can't stop crying. Give her that moment.
The conversation I had on the phone with Mr. McNair when I got drafted was like it was like, man, like God sent him like to be a part of my life, and Miss McNair has been amazing as well. Just like, cause I mean, it's my first team, so I really don't know, but like a lot of my teammates say, man, a lot of other places aren't like that. So I'm just blessed enough to be with them through this time, and DeMeco is a perfect guy for this job, man. He brings something out of his players that like is indescribable, just like that strain, that mental stability, that toughness that he talks about. So, man, I can do nothing but just be appreciative and just be thankful for where I was picked and like the situation we're in now, and it's just been a blessing.
Thank you, CJ.
I'm good.
Thanks, guys.
All right, there you go. That's CJ Stroud.
Thank you, CJ.
Live at the podium. Appreciate you, CJ. Thank you, man. Thank you very much. Appreciate you.
You always got somebody late to the equation. Like, oh, thank you.
Thanks, CJ. So who do you want in the playoffs? We've gone through the game. Let's look ahead. Tomorrow's going to be a relaxing day. You're going to get to watch the Jags and Titans right off the top. That will pretty much decide where things go, where we go next week. Right at noon, right there on CBS, Titans, Jags. Who do you want to see?
Obviously, I want the Browns and I want the home game. And CJ Stroud getting an opportunity to go against Cleveland. Like that's a rested Browns team because they don't have anything to play for this week. They're locked into the 5 spot, so they're rested. They're going to have all this week and leading up to the game at NRG. But the home game and Stroud having the opportunity against those guys, and the fact that you could get Grenard back perhaps, and they have issues at the tackle spot. That's where look, all 3 of these potential opponents are difficult. And I know what you're going to say, but I want the home game. It's the least likely scenario because you have to bet on the Titans beating the Jaguars, but I want the Browns. I want the Browns in this one.
I don't know that it's that. I don't know it's that unlikely.
You're a big Vrabel guy, and this is a big spot for Vrabel where he does some impressive stuff usually.
Yeah, I don't know that's as unlikely as you think. I think you can make a case for both at this point. So I think even Buffalo, as good as they've been, they're beat up, and they're going to be playing late primetime football for the division. So I would almost love for this to be a Saturday game. Like if you're not going to get Cleveland, I would love for it to be a Saturday game. And I would love to be facing the Buffalo Bills after, even though it's going to be cold as hell and all that, but facing the Buffalo Bills Saturday night, full week for the Texans, normal week, and then Buffalo on shorter rest and having to ice up after playing primetime on Sunday. So I think a case can be made for all of it. Is there scenarios where you pick the Texans in them? I don't know, but I think a case can be made for both of those.
The Buffalo matchup, Josh Allen just makes so many mistakes with the football from a turnover perspective, from a just what are you doing perspective. I feel like we saw it a little bit with Minshew did it a couple of times, probably had more opportunities to do it tonight where he kind of used his legs and went out there
Kinda.
Like Allen's a legit weapon with his legs. So
yeah,
that's what really worries me about the three matchups is even if they're not running the ball well with Cook or whoever else they run the ball with, he can supplement the run game so well with his scrambling. Andy Reid with a week to prepare for DeMeco Ryans. I don't love that. They're not the Chiefs that we know though, but it's still Kansas.
They're not even close.
It's still Kansas City in the playoffs. Their rushing attack, I feel like the Texans could probably bully their rushing attack a little bit.
Yeah. So the Texans will not face a better running back than they face today.
Well, he's good, isn't he?
Yeah,
imagine if the Texans had him instead of Ross Blacklock. Oh wait, he's not even on the team anymore. But yeah, I would go. My order is Browns, Bills, Chiefs, just because the Bills I feel like could tighten up if you get them in a close game. Like McDermott,
they've been shaky, man. They've been shaky.
Yeah,
but I think this is like. I think the point that we're making here is that the Texans are obviously banged up. Who knows how much more banged up they are. But if you're looking at all these 3 options, like there's vulnerabilities with them. Like it's not this isn't a situation where it's, hey, are you going to go to Baltimore, or are you going to face like a full strength Miami? Because Miami's receivers are nicked up. That's the strength of their squad. Buffalo's been inconsistent. They've been peaking. They're more battle tested than you. And they have a lot of weapons on offense, and they probably have the ability to take advantage of some of your flaws, but they're going to be playing on a shorter week than you. Cleveland, for as much as like they beat the crap out of the Texans, that CJ Stroud didn't play, that makes a little bit of a difference, obviously. They're a flawed squad. There's a reason they're so feel good. I think the whole point of the discussion, and a lot of people are putting their stuff in on the comments. Be sure to like when you leave the video. When you go back, you leave, you see the like thing. Be sure to smash that. But I mean, it's not like this isn't a situation where you're going against everybody's flawed. I guess is the best way to say it. Everybody's flawed. All of the potential opponents, but I agree with you. Like, if you can go cover a playoff game at NRG next week, you should be excited to do that. And oh, by the way, you got to look at them; they got to look at you. So, how do you guard Amari Cooper would be my question.
Right.
My answer would probably be a little bit different.
Joku's a big concern too. He's really
Joku's
good.
A freak show.
Their defense is really their defense is awesome. Like, let's not mince words. From Myles Garrett on the line to the guy with the long name linebacker to Ward in the secondary. Like, their defense is awesome. Like, they're a really good defense. Can I lay out how they play each team real quick for everybody in case anybody's wondering?
Yeah.
Jags lose, Texans host Browns as the 4 seed. Jags win, you're watching Sunday Night Football. A Bills win has them as the 2 seed hosting the 7 seed Texans. A Dolphins win has the Texans as the 6 seed hosting going to Kansas City to face the Chiefs.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a 2-step process. You know, if the Jags lose, then you're set. And then you're going with like the Miami Buffalo, but there is no Miami scenario. The only Miami scenario was
a tie,
some BS tie thing that wasn't even worth getting into.
Yeah, it's a tie tomorrow night.
You know, there's people asking about Will Anderson and a lot of guys like, can he get healthy? How? Like, I mean, and I don't mean this as a bad thing and knock on Will or anything, but I mean, how is that possible? He just went out there and played football on a hurt ankle. Do you think he all of a sudden in 6 or 7 days feels better? Like, the only way to get better is rest. Like, it's not like he's going to go out there and it's like going to pop in place or something. It's not, it's not, he's not like, you're not going to have a fully, let me put it this way. Unless the Texans somehow gut it out and make it to the Super Bowl and you get the 2-week gap or whatever it is, they're still doing the 2-week gap, right? Or did
yeah.
The Pro Bowl. Yeah. You're not gonna see a fully healthy Will Anderson again this year. It's not going to happen. Now, could you see a Will Anderson that flips the switch and does what he did last week? You bet your ass you could. But as far as like this notion that we need a fully healthy Will Anderson, it's not physically possible.
Can I?
You can do whatever. Quit asking me if you can do it.
Okay.
Weasel.
Are the Texans going to play Saturday, Sunday, or Monday?
They're not going to play. They might throw them on Monday.
So I do wonder if the NFL would do the Bills a little bit of a solid playing Sunday Night Football, that they would then put them, if you indeed play the Bills, that they would then put them on Monday Night Football. I would tell you that just looking at all the playoff matchups, a weird, fun Monday Night Football would be Lions-Rams. So it'd be Stafford versus the Lions in Detroit. Mm-hmm. That's probably a more storyline heavy game than what the Texans put together.
Correct.
But it's 2 games Saturday, it's 3 games Sunday, and then it's 1 game on Monday Night Football. I got a hunch that they're probably like the middle of Sunday or the opener on Sunday.
Do you not agree, though, if they're on Saturday and they play Buffalo, then that's like the biggest, like that's almost like.
That's huge. It's like you stole a day.
I don't even see how the NFL would be able to keep a straight face and do that, though.
It's like you stole a day. I mean, look, Kansas City, has a 12-hour difference or whatever it is, 18-hour difference. but you still get like half a day's advantage even if you play them or the Browns. I know they're not playing all their starters, but somebody's got to play. So, but yeah, but Buffalo Sunday Night Football and then playing on Saturday, even if it's Saturday night, that's really hard. That's really hard to do.
Yeah, it's tough. It's going to be tough no matter what. Like they're gonna be underdogs no matter who they face. So I think they'd be underdogs against Cleveland. Yeah, I would think so, right? Like
I would think that's going to be a really short line if they
2.5, 3.
I would think it checks in at like 1.5 because CJ.
Yeah, I mean, it's something like that. I mean, but CJ, like if he's going to play like this, you need more from the receivers. Like if we're looking ahead, so we're not looking back. So like we're pushing this back. Okay, so I'm not hiking my leg on this win. You need more from the receivers. You just do. Like it's not. I know CJ praised them and stuff, but you need more than what you got.
The only person that had a reception over 10 yards besides Nico Collins was Dalton Schultz. And Brevin Jordan didn't seem like he was on the field that much. Probably needed Salbert in there for the blocking a lot, just to have it, that little advantage in there. So, maybe it's Jordan. Maybe it's look who's healthy too. Like Robert Woods apparently was close to going. Like he worked out, and then he's inactive. It's like you should have Robert Woods next week, you would think. And then I would assume the reason Noah Brown's not on injured reserve is so that you believe he can play next week. So if you get Brown and Woods back, that makes everything so much easier to kind of understand what they may try to do with the offense against whoever they're playing. If you don't have Brown, but you still get Woods, like that's a small bump. Like if you get both those guys back and you don't have to put Mechie and Hutchinson out there as much, like that's a big plus. And it felt like they believed they could get both of those guys back based on how they treated both those guys.
Yeah, and that'll be a huge jolt for a squad that needs it. Tomorrow, I'm going to sit. I'm going to watch. I'll do a live stream once the playoff scenarios are official. I'm assuming, Stoots, you got a busy day tomorrow as well.
Yes, I mean it's. Do we know if we're getting Jacksonville on the TV here in Houston, or are we getting some other game?
I would hope so.
It would be foolish to not play Jacksonville, even though that game matters only to the AFC South. Like, do you know there's a scenario where the Bills?
I would assume so.
Do you know there's a scenario where the Bills don't get in?
What do you mean?
There's a scenario where the Bills don't make the playoffs.
Yeah, because Pittsburgh won.
That's crazy to me.
Because Pittsburgh's crazy as hell, and Pittsburgh always knows how to pull a juvenile and back that ass up into the playoffs.
Boy, I mean, man, I'd love to see the Jaguars miss the playoffs.
Oh God, I have $100 on it.
I have a.
I got a field. I bet McLean. He gave me the field, and he took the Jags. So on Tuesday, he's either giving me a $100 bill or I'm giving him a $100 bill. I took the field. I think I like. You guys know me. You know how I am sometimes. Like, it's not necessarily the actual subject that I dislike. It's the way in which the subject gets discussed. So it's like in the way that Jacksonville was getting discussed this offseason, I just thought was kind of disgusting. Like at one point, I think their win-loss total was 11.5. And it was just like, what are we doing? Like, I get that they backed in and got into the playoffs. Obviously, they beat one of the worst coaches of my lifetime in Brant and Staley, the way that they wet the bed. But like 11.5, 12 wins, like 3 teams in the AFC won 11 last year. And that was Buffalo, Cincinnati, and Kansas City.
Yeah.
And like, we're just at 11.5 with a division that's going to be better than it was last year. And I wasn't thinking that AFC South was going to be murder's row, but that was just kind of corny to me. I was never a fan of that.
I may have put a worthwhile amount of money in the middle of the year when the Texans were plus 340 to win the AFC South.
Yeah.
So that would be nice. Also, we're both, you and I both like to, put a little extra into the game, a little gambling. We're both idiots for not taking over on CJ Stroud rushing yards in this game. Like, I mean, that was the easiest prop in the world. It was 6.5.
Yeah, well.
We could have paid the dang mortgage.
Yeah, well.
Could have paid a lot of mortgages.
Sometimes. That's the story of my life, story of my gambling.
Yep.
But people, be sure to like when you go back. Be sure to like. I guess there's 918 people in here, only 351 likes. So basically, when you press the back, hit that little thumb right there on the left. It would be much appreciated. And I appreciate everyone for coming through. I appreciate you, Stoots. I'm going to go do my thing. And then I'll get a nice nap in. Hopefully I'll sleep till like 11:59, wake up, watch that game. And then we'll react to what goes on mañana.
Man, this is fun. It's been a fun season. You've been crushing it on here. I love seeing the people jump in here. 900 people is incredible. It's a testament to your hard work and how much people enjoy hearing you break the game down. You're my favorite to hear the Texans break down after when I listen back to myself break the team down.
Well, there you go. Good for you, man. You enjoy that. And I'll holler at you later.
All right. Talk to you soon, man.
All right. Reaction Monday. I'm used to saying that tomorrow. Nah, not tomorrow. We get to chill tomorrow. Sunday, fun day like a mofo. Sit back and watch noon game. If the Jags lose, then the Texans are the AFC South champions, and they will host the Cleveland Browns next week. Day to be determined. Will be determined probably during Football Night in America, which features the Dolphins and the Bills. Now, if the Jags win, they're the AFC South champs. The Texans will go to Buffalo if Buffalo wins that game, and then they will go to Kansas City if the Dolphins win that game. So enjoy it. Be sure to hit that like button. Appreciate y'all for coming through. I'll tease Reaction Monday, mañana. It's been a fun ride. It was a fun ride. The bottom line is this. If you have a quarterback, you have a chance. The Colts did not. The Texans did. CJF and Stroud and the Houston Texans are going to the playoffs. And even if they hadn't, when it comes to this Texan stuff, regardless of the results, we're all in it together. Thanks for coming through. Have you some fun.
Daily digital on YouTube. We got taste for days, opinions to give. We got takeaways. If it's up, then it's up. We number one. You don't need to try your luck. Locker room, yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk, yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too.